Hello, criminal justice enthusiasts, and welcome back to You Are the Judge. Now, I had originally planned on putting Judge Sim on for the weekends here on a once a week type of situation, but after reflecting on it and getting some feedback from a few of you on YouTube, I decided I'm going to go ahead and record that as I did and put it out on a daily basis. So we're going to jump back into Judge Sim here once a week, covering the cases until we get through them all. So here we are with the Cobarty Intelligence Agency versus Kyle Newmer. Let's see what we have in this case. Get one of your relationships to reach 100%. Well, that's a good thing. I'm glad I did that. Alright, let's see which one it is. Relationship with the Supreme Court. Really, all my relationships are good. Even my spouse is pretty good right now, so I'm happy about that. Let's go ahead here. These are the results of my research. I hope you've been able to shake off your fatigue. It was an extremely difficult case to make a decision on. Your decision didn't generate much discussion in the press, institutions, or on social media. I suppose for you, it's better not to be in the spotlight for a perplexing case. That's all I can convey to you. I've prepared the documents for your upcoming case and left them on the table in your courtroom. Additionally, the attorneys are waiting for you in the courtroom for pre-trial hearing. Sounds good. So overall, we're good on that. Let's take a look at the socials. This, I think, might be part of the case, so I'm not going to say anything about that. So our country's natural resource to foreigners and spending this money recklessly. Imagine opposition to that has no other project than tweeting on social media. Are you aware of the crime of inciting hatred and enmity among people? Alright, when I look at other countries, I am proud of our legal system. Definitely going to like that one. Be great if I could do an internship at the courthouse. Yeah, go ahead and talk to me about it. I'll be willing to have you as an intern, possibly, if you're qualified. I'm new here. How do I send a message? You just did. I know Richard from a distance. He's a good man. Oh, that's nice of you to say as well. Now let's see about posting something. Should we organize a seminar about justice system in our country? Constitution being accessible online now will be a great convenience for our people. I agree with that one. That's a great thing. Alright, so I made a post. We're good with that for the day. Let's go ahead and get off of that and go ahead to the courtroom for our pretrial hearings. I will say there's a definite difference in level here. The government acknowledged that homeless population is a major problem in the country, stated that they are still working on the issue. Yes, the government loyalty has gone down because they didn't like what I had to say on that. But I made my position clear in the last video, and I'm fine with my stance. So, as I was saying, this game does have a higher challenge level, I would say, than Judge Sim. Having played them in back-to-back days here, I can definitely say Judge Sim just is a bit easier because the cases seem a bit more clear. But that's neither here nor there. I'm enjoying both games overall. Still playing through the Judge Sim other chapters, so we'll see how these cases go on that one as well. Alright, let's hear from the plaintiff first. The institution represented by my client is conducting significant operations within the country. In one of these operations, which has been under surveillance for a long time, the defendant has been placed as an operative within the arms smuggling group. However, as the operation progressed, communication with Kyle Newmer was lost, and no response was received. Based on observations, it has been determined that Kyle Newmer began working with the organization and severed ties with the agency. We request that the defendant be tried for treason against the homeland. Okay, that's a serious situation here. My client takes pride in working for the Cobarty Intelligence Agency, which is the plaintiff in this case, and is a patriotic individual. From the moment he was embedded within the organization, his primary goal has been to dismantle the organization. However, due to the increasing risk of capture within the organization, he decided to terminate his communication with the Kobardi intelligence agency. He made this decision to ensure his own safety. We firmly deny that the allegations made by the plaintiff. Alright, well, I'm starting to lean a little bit in one direction. Defendant and plaintiff have no objections. Alright, so we can go to the case. Leaning a little bit in one direction, but we'll see what the evidence provides. Alright. Oh, this part I do not like. I'm glad in the new version of Judge Sim with the you are the law, or I am the law portion, they've eliminated mini games like this. Your relationship with your family will decrease by 5 points. See, seriously, why? It's just sort of BS. Lawsuit begins. Alright, respectful, tense, neat. Indifferent, anxious, neat. Alright. We already went through the pre-trial, so on the checklist here, we've looked at those things. Intelligence Agency versus Kyle Newmer, abusive office case. Kobardi Intelligence Agency has placed member Kyle Newmer inside the arms smugglers he had been pursuing for a long time. However, over time, communication with Kyle was lost. It is believed that he also began working for the organization. Recently, with the operation carried out, the criminals were captured and Kobardi Intelligence Agency also captured Kyle, whom they had previously infiltrated. Kyle Newmer is accused of abusing his mission and going beyond orders, and a request for his punishment has been filed with the court. Alright, so we have that operation plan. It contains the articles of the relevant operation communication records. It contains agency's communication records. Alright, Article 1. If Kyle Newmer successfully infiltrated, communication will be established through encrypted phones. If the operation jeopardizes Kyle Newmer's life, it will be terminated early. If the required code is transmitted, a raid will be conducted at Kyle Newmer's last known location. For security reasons, the number of people who knew about Kyle Newmer's activities will be limited. So they definitely had a plan in place to rescue him should he need rescuing. Kyle Newmer spent his first day with the organization. Kyle Newmer reported that the organization was preparing a major delivery. Kyle Newmer provided the location information of the requested individual. Kyle Newmer reported a security issue. Communication cut off. So 7 days after a security issue, it cut off. Alright, so we have that. Sorry about that. One of my dogs was having a bad dream, it seems like. Alright, so we've looked at that. I mean, this is a serious situation here. What is it they're exactly accusing him of? Treason against the homeland. That is their wording. So let's look at the law here. Oh yeah, I do like that this law book does give me the exact ones. Cases involving charges of treason and disobedience to orders are treated with special diligence to protect the security and legal order of the country. Court meticulously examines the validity of charges and the evidence. Those found guilty can be punished with severe penalties for the crime of treason. Alright. Let's start talking to the different people here then. How do you determine Kyle Newmer's return to the organization? We determine Kyle Newmer's return to the organization through intelligence obtained during the operation and communication records. Alright. Can you provide more details about Kyle Newmer's role within the organization and the cessation of communication? At the beginning of the operation, we placed Kyle Newmer within the organization and monitored the communication process. However, over time, communication was severed, and we understood that he began working for the organization. What charges are you bringing against Kyle Newmer on behalf of Kobardi's intelligence agency? We are bringing charges against Kyle Newmer for acting contrary to the intelligence agency's mission, jeopardizing the mission, and going beyond orders. You will agree that there cannot be a more serious offense, and we hope the punishment will be commensurate, Your Honor. All right. Next up, we have Kyle himself. What actions did you take after being placed within the organization? After being placed within the organization, I worked to disrupt the arms smugglers in line with the organization's mission. What happened regarding the cessation of communication and what was the reason for it? Cessation of communication occurred due to the increased risk of capture and my desire to ensure my own safety. I terminated communication to protect my own life. How do you evaluate the allegations made by Kabardi Intelligence Agency? Acted in accordance with the organization's mission and risked my life to protect the nation. The allegations made by the organization are baseless. It is extremely humiliating to be accused by an institution I served. See what the witnesses have to say. How did you maintain communication with Kyle Newmer during the operation? We communicate with Kyle Newmer using pre-established secure communication channels. What was Kyle Newmer's what was Kyle Newmer's role within the smuggling organization, and how long did he successfully carry it out? Kyle Newmer's role was to monitor the organization's activity and gather intelligence. He successfully carried out his role until the cessation of communication. What evidence do you have that Kyle Newmer returned to the organization? We presented communication records and operation reports as evidence to the court. All right. What did you observe regarding Kyle Newmer's behavior within the organization? Initially, Kyle Newmer acted in accordance with the organization's mission. However, over time, he displayed a more negative attitude toward the organization and severed communication. What occurred after the cessation of communication with Kyle Newmer? After the cessation of communication, there was instability and confusion within the organization. Kyle Newmer's inactivity affected some of the organization's plans. What evidence do you have that Kyle Newmer returned to the organization? We presented communication records and operation reports as evidence to the court. Alright, so same thing there from him. That's fine. These cases are definitely tricky ones that they give me. How did you track Kyle Newmer's communication records within the organization? We track communication records by technically monitoring communication channels and examining electronic evidence. What changes occurred in Kabardi Intelligence Agency's operations after the cessation of communication? After the cessation of communication, there was some disruption in the internal workings of the organization, and revisions were needed in operation plans. What evidence do you have that Kyle Newmer returned to the organization? Probably he's going to say the same thing. Oh no, he didn't. He claims to have terminated communications due to the concerns for his safety. But at the time, our information about the organization indicated no problems. Alright. So I'm gonna find him guilty, I believe, and the main reason for it is this portion right here. The operation plan. So, if operation jeopardizes Kyle Newmer's life, it will be terminated early. If the required code is transmitted, a raid will be conducted at Kyle Newmer's last known location. So there was a plan if his life was in danger. He did not follow that plan. So that's why I'm finding him guilty. Yes. Testimony as a witness involved a case may affect the content of the case. Alright, so we're going to write our justification. The defendant had the agency had a plan in place if Kyle's life was in danger. However, Kyle did not follow that plan and instead ceased communication. That breaking from the plan by Kyle is his fault and thus highlights his guilt. There we go. Alright. Now I didn't have a time set here for it, so much like I'm doing in Judge Sim, I'm going to look online and see what the penalty for treason is. What is the punishment for treason? Alright, so is death or not less than 5 years imprisonment if not sentenced to death. Person convicted of treason also forfeits the right to hold public office. Alright, so we don't have death as an option here, so let's go, and I'm supposed to also fine him $10,000, but I don't believe I can do both here. So since I can't do both, we're going to go above the limit of the 5 years. Let's go with 10 years in prison for treason here. And I did not get a penalty because I made the right decision. Perfect. I do appreciate that. All right. Let's go ahead and leave this one and see what question we have to answer here. Your spouse's family wants to come and stay with you for a week. What are your thoughts on this? If it will make my spouse happy, why not? I completely agree. That's the way I feel in my actual life, so why wouldn't I do it here? I'm all about family and stuff, and especially about my wife, so if it makes her happy, then I'm for it. Alright, so that is where we're going to go ahead and end this episode. It was a fairly short episode here, I think, because of the fact that it was a fairly straightforward case. This is about the straightforwardest case we've had on this game. With that, it looks like we're going to have a next case here about an illegal organization. Maybe it's the one that we were just talking about in the last episode. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and end this episode. If you enjoyed what I did in the video, please go ahead and click that like button. If you've not already, please subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon, so that you're aware when I produce new videos in the future. Thank you, and I hope to see you all back for more of You Are the Judge.